A single dad at the airport, watching my daughter board a plane to safety. I never imagined it would turn into a nightmare. A gunman stormed onto the aircraft. 2 innocent children trapped. A bullet aimed at a stranger's child. In that split second on the chaotic runway, I had to choose between my life or hers. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The coffee in my hand had gone cold an hour ago, but I kept holding the cup anyway. It gave my shaking fingers something to do. I sat in a worn leather chair near Gate 47 at Chicago O'Hare International Airport, watching travelers rush past. My daughter Sarah sat beside me, her small hand in mine. She was only 8 years old, with her mother's brown eyes and my stubborn chin. "Daddy, when will Grandma come?" Sarah asked, swinging her legs. "Soon, sweetheart," I whispered, pulling her closer. "Very soon." I could not tell her the truth. I could not tell her that I was sending her away because of the threats. Because 3 weeks ago, I witnessed something I should never have seen. My name is David Chen. I worked as a software engineer for a logistics company called Transglobal Shipping. Simple job. Simple life. Until I discovered that my boss was using our shipping routes to move illegal weapons and drugs across state lines. For weeks, I debated what to do. Every night, I stared at the ceiling, wondering if I should just look the other way. It would be easier. Safer. But every morning when I made Sarah breakfast and watched her smile at me with complete trust, I knew I could not stay silent. How could I teach my daughter about right and wrong if I did nothing when I witnessed evil? I remembered the night I finally decided to act. It was a Tuesday evening. Sarah and I were having dinner together, just spaghetti and meatballs, her favorite. She was telling me about her school day, about how her friend Emma got in trouble for talking in class, about the math test she got an A on. "Daddy, Mrs. Rodriguez says we should always do the right thing, even when it is hard," Sarah said, twirling spaghetti on her fork. "She says that is what heroes do." Those simple words hit me like a punch to the gut. Here was my 8-year-old daughter, unknowingly answering the question that had been haunting me for weeks. If I stayed silent, if I let criminals continue hurting people just to keep myself safe, what kind of example was I setting for her? That night, after I tucked Sarah into bed and kissed her goodnight, I sat at my computer and compiled everything. Every shipping manifest. Every encrypted file. Every piece of evidence I had found. I organized it all into a detailed report with dates, times, locations, and names. The next morning, I called the FBI field office in Chicago. I spoke to Special Agent Maria Santos. She listened carefully as I explained what I had discovered. 2 days later, I met her and her partner at a coffee shop downtown. I handed over a USB drive containing all the evidence. "Mr. Chen, you are doing the right thing," Agent Santos said, her dark eyes serious. "But I need to be honest with you. The people you are testifying against are dangerous. Very dangerous. We will do everything we can to protect you, but you need to be careful." I reported everything to the FBI. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought justice would protect us. I was wrong. The threat started within 48 hours. Anonymous calls at 3 in the morning. A voice saying, "We know where your daughter goes to school." Then messages slipped under my door with pictures of Sarah at the playground. Then a brick through my window with a note, "Keep your mouth shut or lose everything." The first call came on a Wednesday night. The phone rang at 3:17 a.m. I grabbed it quickly, not wanting it to wake Sarah. "Hello," I said, my voice thick with sleep. Heavy breathing on the other end. Then a voice, distorted and cold, "David Chen. Software engineer. Lives at 2847, Maple Street, apartment 4B. Drives a gray Honda Civic. Works at Transglobal Shipping." My blood went cold. "Who is this?" "We know everything about you, David. We know your daughter Sarah goes to Lincoln Elementary School. We know she is in Mrs. Henderson's third grade class. We know she has ballet on Tuesday afternoons. We know she loves strawberry ice cream from the shop on 5th Street. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. Leave my daughter alone. That depends on you. Keep your mouth shut. Tell the FBI you made a mistake. Or things will get very bad for little Sarah. The line went dead. I did not sleep the rest of that night. I sat in Sarah's doorway, watching her sleep, making sure she was safe. The next day, I found an envelope under my apartment door. Inside were photographs. Sarah on the swings at the park. Sarah walking home from school. Sarah holding my hand at the crosswalk. Each photo had a red X marked over her face. The day after that, at 2 a.m., a brick came crashing through our living room window. Glass exploded everywhere. Sarah woke up screaming. I ran to her room and held her while she cried. Attached to the brick was a note written in red marker, "Last warning. Keep quiet or lose everything." I went to the police. They said they would increase patrols. But I could see it in their eyes. They knew these were dangerous people. They knew they could not protect us 24 hours a day. I did not have much in this world. My wife Rebecca had died from cancer 2 years ago. Those were the darkest days of my life. Holding her hand in the hospital while Sarah slept beside us. Rebecca's last words to me were, "Promise me you will always protect our baby girl." The cancer had been brutal. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. The doctors gave her 6 months. She fought for 18, refusing to give up, determined to see as much of Sarah's life as possible. I remembered the day we got the diagnosis. We were sitting in Dr. Palmer's office, holding hands, waiting for the test results. When he walked in with that look on his face, I knew. I knew before he even spoke. "I am so sorry," Dr. Palmer said. "The cancer has spread. It is very aggressive." Rebecca squeezed my hand. She did not cry. Not then. She stayed strong. "How long?" she asked. 6 months. Maybe less. I am truly sorry. That night, after we put Sarah to bed, Rebecca finally broke down. We sat on our bedroom floor and held each other while she cried. "I am not ready to leave her," she sobbed. "She is only 6 years old. She needs her mother. She needs me." "I know," I whispered, my own tears falling. "I know. Promise me something, David," Rebecca said, pulling back to look at me. "Promise me that no matter what happens, you will always protect her. Promise me you will teach her to be brave and kind. Promise me you will show her what love looks like." "I promise," I said. "I promise." Rebecca fought hard. She endured chemotherapy that made her violently sick. Radiation that burned her skin. Experimental treatments that barely helped. But she never stopped being a mother. She still read Sarah bedtime stories, even when she could barely keep her eyes open. She still helped with homework, even when the pain was unbearable. The last week was the worst. Rebecca was in the hospital, barely conscious. Sarah and I took turns sitting with her. On the final night, at 3 a.m., Rebecca opened her eyes and looked at me. "David," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I am here," I said, taking her hand. "Promise me you will always protect our baby girl." "I promise," I said, tears streaming down my face. "I promise." She smiled weakly, closed her eyes, and was gone. I made that promise. And I intended to keep it. Sarah was all I had left. She was my entire universe, my reason for breathing. So I made arrangements. My mother lived in Seattle, far from Chicago. Sarah would be safe there while I testified in court next month. Flight 286 to Seattle, now boarding at Gate 47, the announcement echoed through the terminal. My chest tightened. This was it. Come on, baby, I said, standing up. Time to go see Grandma. Sarah looked up at me. Will you come visit soon? I knelt down, holding both her hands. I promise I will try my hardest. And I want you to remember something. No matter what happens, I love you more than anything in this whole world. I love you too, Daddy, she said, hugging me tight. I held her for a long moment, memorizing everything. This might be the last time I ever held my daughter. Sir, we need to board now, a flight attendant said gently. I walked Sarah to the gate and watched as the attendant took her hand. Wait. I called out. Sarah turned around. You are the bravest, smartest, most beautiful girl in the world, I said, my voice breaking. Never forget that. She smiled, waved, and disappeared down the hallway to the plane. I stood there frozen, staring at the empty space. My heart felt like it was being ripped from my chest. Excuse me, are you okay? I turned to see a woman in a pilot's uniform. She had short blonde hair, sharp blue eyes, and captain's bars on her shoulders. Her name tag read, Captain Emma Morrison. I am fine, I lied, but my voice cracked. She studied my face. That was your daughter? I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. It is hard saying goodbye to them, she said softly. I have a daughter too. 8 years old. Her name is Lily. How do you do it? I asked. How do you leave them? Captain Morrison smiled sadly. You tell yourself it is temporary. You tell yourself you are doing it for them. But it never really gets easier. I am flying that plane to Seattle, she said. I will personally make sure your daughter is safe. Lily is on this flight too. Maybe they can sit together. Thank you, I managed to say. Her name is Sarah. I will take good care of both our girls, she promised, shaking my hand. I turned to leave. That was when I saw him. A man in a dark jacket stood near the windows, staring directly at me. I recognized him immediately. Vincent Russo. One of my former boss's enforcers. A man with dead eyes and no conscience. My blood turned to ice. He smiled at me. A cold, cruel smile. Then he started walking toward the gate. Toward the plane. Toward Sarah. They were going to hurt my daughter. I ran after him, pushing through the crowd. Sir! You cannot go past this point, a security guard shouted. There is a dangerous man on that plane. I yelled. Sir, calm down or I will restrain you. I watched helplessly as Vincent Russo walked through the gate, disappearing down the hallway. I pulled out my phone and called 911, giving them every detail. But I knew it would not be fast enough. I had to protect Sarah. I ran to a gift shop and bought a baseball cap and sunglasses. Then I approached a different gate agent. Excuse me, I need to get on flight 286. Family emergency. Sir, the plane is about to leave. Please, I begged. My daughter is on that plane and my mother had a heart attack. I need to bring Sarah back immediately. The agent hesitated, then checked her computer. What is your daughter's name? Sarah Chen. Seat 23B. After checking my ID and charging my credit card $1,200, she handed me a boarding pass. 3 minutes later, I ran down the hallway, my heart pounding. When I stepped onto the plane, I walked quickly down the aisle. I found Sarah sitting by the window next to a blonde girl. Captain Morrison's daughter, Lily. Daddy! Sarah cried out when she saw me. I rushed to her and knelt down. I am here, baby. Everything is going to be okay. Why did you come back? Change of plans, I said, glancing around nervously. Where was Vincent Russo? Then I saw him. 7 rows ahead, aisle seat. He was not looking at me. He was looking toward the cockpit. Toward Captain Morrison. My stomach dropped. He was not here just for Sarah. He was here for Captain Morrison's daughter too. The plane's engine started. We began moving toward the runway. I pressed the call button, but the flight attendant said the captain was busy preparing for takeoff. The plane stopped at the end of the runway, engines roaring. That was when chaos erupted. Vincent Russo suddenly stood up, pulling a gun from his bag. The black metal gleamed under the cabin lights. Several passengers gasped. "Nobody move," he shouted. "Turn this plane around now." Passengers screamed. People dove behind seats. A baby started crying. An elderly woman fainted. A man tried to film it on his phone but his hands shook too much. The plane stopped suddenly, still on the runway. The engines powered down to a low hum. Through the windows, I could see we were still near the terminal, not far from where our journey had begun. Russo pointed the gun at a flight attendant, a young woman who looked barely 25. She froze, her face going white with terror. "Get the captain out here. Now. Or I start shooting passengers." The flight attendant stumbled toward the cockpit, her legs barely working. She knocked on the door frantically. The cockpit door opened slowly. Captain Morrison stepped out, her face pale but controlled. Her training had kicked in. She assessed the situation in seconds. "I am Captain Morrison. What do you want?" Her voice was steady, calm, trying to defuse the situation. "You," Russo snarled, taking a step toward her. The gun never wavered. "You and your daughter. You are both coming with me." Captain Morrison's eyes darted to where Lily sat, and I saw pure terror flash across her face for just a moment before she regained her composure. Every mother's nightmare was unfolding before her eyes. "Why?" she asked, her voice shaking slightly despite her best efforts. "What do you want from us?" "6 months ago, you testified in court," Russo said, his voice dripping with venom. "You saw my boss's plane at a private airfield in Indiana. You told the police about the unmarked cargo. About the midnight flights. About the armed guards. About everything you witnessed. Because of you, because you could not mind your own business, he is sitting in a federal prison right now. 25 years. My boss got 25 years because of you." "I was just doing my job," Captain Morrison said, trying to reason with him. "Federal law requires pilots to report suspicious activity. I had no choice." "Wrong," Russo said coldly, his finger moving closer to the trigger. "You had a choice. You could have looked the other way like everyone else does. You could have stayed silent. You could have protected yourself and your daughter. But you chose to be a hero. And now you are going to pay for it. You and your daughter. And now you are going to pay for it," Russo said coldly. "You and your daughter." Lily started crying. Sarah held her hand. I understood everything now. This was revenge. Captain Morrison was a witness, just like me. And now both our daughters were targets. "Please," Captain Morrison begged. "Take me. Let my daughter go." "That is the point," Russo said. "When people hear what happened to you and your kid, they will think twice before talking to the cops." He started walking toward the back of the plane. Toward the girls. I made a decision. I stood up and walked quickly toward him. Vincent Russo saw me. His eyes widened, then narrowed in anger. "You," he spat. "The rat who started all of this." "Leave them alone," I said, my voice steady. "This is between you and me." "Wrong," Russo said. "Everyone pays." He continued toward the girls. I could not let that happen. I would not let that happen. I lunged forward, tackling Russo from behind. We crashed into the seats. The gun went off, the bullet hitting the ceiling. Passengers screamed louder. Complete chaos erupted. Russo was stronger than me. He slammed his elbow into my ribs, and pain exploded through my chest. But I held on with everything I had. "Let go," he snarled, trying to aim the gun at the girls. I grabbed his wrist, trying to control the weapon. We fought desperately in the narrow aisle. 2 male passengers rushed forward to help me. One grabbed Russo's left arm. Another went for his legs. But Russo twisted violently, breaking free. The gun swung wildly. Captain Morrison ran toward us. "Get away from my daughter." Russo pointed the gun directly at her chest. Time seemed to slow down. I saw his finger tighten on the trigger. I saw Captain Morrison's face, frozen in terror. I saw Sarah and Lily in the background, holding each other and crying. I heard Rebecca's voice in my mind, "Promise me you will always protect our baby girl." I did the only thing I could. I threw myself in front of Captain Morrison, right as the gun fired. The bullet hit me in the chest, just below my left shoulder. The impact felt like being struck by lightning. I fell backward, crashing into Captain Morrison. We both went down. "No," she screamed. The pain was overwhelming. I could not breathe. Blood spread across my shirt. The world started to blur. But I was still conscious. Still aware. The 2 male passengers tackled Russo while he was distracted. They slammed him to the floor. One grabbed the gun and kicked it away. "Medical emergency!" Captain Morrison shouted. "Someone call for paramedics." She pressed her hands against my chest wound, trying to stop the bleeding. "Stay with me, Mr. Chen," she said urgently. "Please stay with me." I tried to speak, but blood filled my mouth. Everything felt cold. "Daddy!" Sarah's voice cut through the chaos. She ran toward me, Lily right behind her. Both girls were sobbing. "No, sweetheart, do not look," Captain Morrison said, trying to shield them. But Sarah pushed past her and grabbed my hand. "Daddy, please do not leave me," she sobbed. "You promised." I squeezed her hand weakly. "Love you," I managed to whisper. "Always." Through the plane windows, I could see emergency vehicles racing across the runway. Lights flashing red and blue. But I was so tired. So cold. Captain Morrison kept pressure on my wound, but I could feel my life draining away. "You saved my daughter," she whispered. "You saved Lily. You saved me. You are a hero." The last thing I heard was Sarah's voice, crying my name. Then darkness. I woke up 4 days later in a hospital bed. Everything was white. White walls. White ceiling. White sheets. For a moment, I thought I was dead. Then I felt the pain. Sharp, burning pain in my chest. Pain meant I was alive. The first thing I saw was my mother, sitting beside me, holding my hand. She looked exhausted. Her hair was messy. Dark circles under her eyes. Her face lined with worry. "David," she breathed, tears streaming down her face. "Thank God you are awake. Thank God. I thought I lost you." My throat was dry. It hurt to speak. "Where is Sarah?" I croaked. "She is here. She never left your side." My mother squeezed my hand gently. "Not for one moment. We had to force her to eat. She has been sleeping in that chair, holding your hand, talking to you, praying for you." I tried to sit up but pain shot through my chest. I gasped. "Easy, honey," my mother said. "Do not move too much. You have stitches. Lots of stitches." As if summoned by magic, Sarah appeared in the doorway. When she saw my eyes open, she let out a cry and ran to the bed. "Daddy," she sobbed. Daddy, you are awake. She climbed carefully onto the bed, mindful of all the tubes and wires connected to me. Daddy, she sobbed, burying her face in my shoulder, careful not to touch my bandaged chest. I wrapped my good arm around her, ignoring the pain that shot through my body. I am sorry, baby. I am so sorry I scared you. You scared me so much. I thought you died. I thought you left me like mommy. I prayed and prayed for you to wake up. Every day I prayed. But I am still here. I am not going anywhere. I promise. I kissed the top of her head. I will always fight to come back to you. Always. A doctor entered, a middle-aged man with kind eyes and graying hair. Dr. Patterson, according to his badge. He wore blue scrubs and carried a tablet computer. He checked my vitals, examined my charts, and smiled with genuine relief. Mr. Chen, you are incredibly lucky. The bullet missed your heart by less than an inch. 1 inch to the right and we would not be having this conversation. It collapsed 1 lung and cracked 2 ribs, but we were able to repair the damage. You lost a lot of blood. We had to give you 3 transfusions. But you are strong. You will make a full recovery, though you will need months of physical therapy and rehabilitation. How long was I unconscious? I asked. 4 days. You were in surgery for 6 hours. Then we kept you in a medically induced coma for 3 days to let your body heal. You are very lucky to be alive, Mr. Chen. After the doctor left, my mother took Sarah and Lily to get some juice. Captain Emma Morrison walked in slowly. She looked exhausted, her eyes red from crying. Mr. Chen, she said softly, sitting down. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she spoke, her voice breaking. You took a bullet meant for me. You threw yourself in front of a gun to save my life. To save my daughter's life. I just did what anyone would do, I said. No, she shook her head. Most people would have stayed in their seat. But you protected my daughter like she was your own. She pulled out an envelope. Vincent Russo is in custody. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. Your former boss is being charged too. The entire organization has been dismantled. It is over. We are all safe because of you. Relief flooded through me. What about Lily? Is she okay? She has nightmares sometimes. But she is getting counseling. She is strong. She handed me the envelope. The passengers on that flight started a fundraiser for you. They raised money for your medical bills. Inside was a check for $75,000. I cannot accept this, I said. Please, she insisted. You almost died protecting strangers. Let us do this for you. After she left, Sarah and Lily came in. Lily held out a crayon drawing. It showed a man protecting 2 little girls. Above it said, "My hero. Thank you for saving me and my mommy." Tears filled my eyes. This is beautiful, Lily. Thank you. Can Lily come visit us when you get better? Sarah asked. Of course she can, I said. Any time she wants. 3 months later, I stood in my new living room, surrounded by moving boxes. I had used the money wisely. Paid off medical bills. Put a down payment on a small house in a good school district. Started a college fund for Sarah. The doorbell rang. Emma and Lily stood on my porch, both holding wrapped presents. Happy moving day. Emma said. The girls ran off to explore Sarah's new room, their laughter echoing through the house. Emma and I unpacked boxes together in comfortable silence. This is a nice house, she said. Good neighborhood. It is perfect for Sarah and me. A fresh start. You deserve it. After everything. From Sarah's room, we heard the girls singing together. They are like sisters now, Emma observed. That evening, the four of us sat around my dining table, eating pizza. Sarah told jokes. Emma shared funny stories. I talked about my new job. It felt normal. It felt right. It felt like family. After dinner, we sat on the couch watching a movie. Lily fell asleep on Emma's shoulder. Sarah dozed off against me. This is nice, Emma whispered. It is, I agreed. David, after my husband died 3 years ago, I never thought I would feel safe again, she said quietly. But then you threw yourself in front of a bullet for us. And I realized there are still good men in this world. Heroes. I took her hand. I see you too, Emma. And I am grateful our lives crossed paths. We sat in comfortable silence, our daughters sleeping beside us. 6 months ago, I thought my life was over. But instead, I found courage I did not know I had. I found purpose. I found family in the most unlikely place. 1 year later, I stood at Chicago O'Hare Airport again. Gate 47. The same gate where everything had changed. But this time, I was not afraid. This time, I was not saying goodbye. Sarah stood beside me, holding Lily's hand. Both girls wore matching t-shirts that said, Sisters by Choice. Emma stood on my other side, her hand in mine, wearing a simple gold ring that matched the one on my finger. We had gotten married 3 months ago. Now we were taking a family vacation to Hawaii. Flight 312 to Honolulu, now boarding, the announcement called. That is us. Sarah squealed. As we walked toward the gate, I thought about everything that had happened. The fear. The pain. The blood. The bullet. But also the courage. The love. The family we had built from tragedy. Vincent Russo was serving 3 life sentences. My former boss and his associates were behind bars. The criminal organization was dismantled. Justice had won. Good had triumphed over evil. As we boarded the plane, Sarah and Lily ran ahead to find our seats. Emma squeezed my hand. Are you okay being back on a plane? I looked around. At the flight attendants smiling. At my daughters laughing. I am more than okay, I said. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. The girls peppered Emma with questions about flying. She answered each one patiently. I leaned back, feeling complete peace. Sarah reached over and took my hand. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, sweetheart. Lily leaned across the aisle. Mr. Chen, can I call you Dad? My heart swelled. I would be honored, Lily. She beamed. Okay, Dad. Emma wiped tears from her eyes. The plane's engine started. We began to taxi toward the runway. This time, there was no fear. No danger. No chaos. Just a family going on vacation together. The plane lifted off, climbing into the blue sky. And for the first time since Rebecca died, I felt complete again. Like the broken pieces of my heart had been put back together. Different from before, but still beautiful. Still whole. I had taken a bullet to save a stranger's daughter. I had nearly died on an airplane floor. But in doing so, I had saved myself too. I had learned that courage is not about being fearless. It is about acting despite your fear. I had learned that family is not always about blood. Sometimes it is about the people who choose to stand beside you. I had learned that even in the worst moments, there is always hope. Always light. Always a chance for redemption. The plane leveled out. Sarah and Lily watched a movie together, sharing headphones. Emma worked on a crossword puzzle, asking me for help. I sat between them all, surrounded by love and laughter. The best protection I could give Sarah was not walls or distance. It was showing her how to be brave. How to stand up for what is right. How to help others even when it costs you something. Rebecca would have been proud. As the plane carried us toward paradise, I thought about the journey that brought us here. Vincent Russo had wanted revenge. He had wanted to hurt, to destroy. But he had failed. Because love is always stronger than hate. I touched the scar on my chest. Some scars never fully heal. But scars are proof that you survived. They are proof that you fought and lived. I would carry this scar for the rest of my life. And every time I saw it, I would remember the most important truth. Love is worth fighting for. Family is worth dying for. And sometimes, the greatest act of love is simply refusing to let evil win. Sarah laughed at something in the movie. Emma smiled at me. Lily whispered something to Sarah, and they both giggled. This was my family now. Not the one I had planned. Not the one I had expected. But the one I had earned through courage and unwavering love. And it was perfect. The plane flew on through the blue sky, carrying us toward tomorrow. Toward healing. Toward happiness. Toward home. I closed my eyes and felt the sun on my face. I was alive. My daughters were safe. And that was all that mattered. The runway had been chaotic that day. Bullets flying. People screaming. Blood everywhere. But from that chaos had come something beautiful. A second chance at life. A second chance at family. A second chance at love. I had taken a bullet on that chaotic runway to save the airline captain's daughter. And in doing so, I had found my way home. I looked out the window at the clouds below us, stretching endlessly like a white ocean. Sarah leaned against me, already half asleep, exhausted from the excitement. Lily was fast asleep across the aisle, her head on Emma's lap. Emma caught my eye and smiled, that same warm smile that had become my anchor over the past year. "What are you thinking about?" she asked softly. "Everything," I said. "How one moment can change your entire life. How one decision can lead you to places you never imagined." "Do you regret it?" she asked. "Getting on that plane? Taking that bullet?" I looked at Sarah sleeping peacefully beside me. I looked at Lily, now my daughter in every way that mattered. I looked at Emma, my wife, my partner, my second chance at happiness. "Not for 1 second," I said. "Every scar was worth it. Every moment of pain led me here. To you. To them. To this family." Emma reached across the aisle and squeezed my hand. "We are the lucky ones, David. You saved our lives, but you also gave us a family. You gave Lily a father. You gave me hope again. You gave me the same," I said. The flight attendant came by with drinks. Sarah woke up briefly to ask for apple juice, then fell back asleep against my shoulder. I watched her peaceful face, so much like her mother's, and felt Rebecca's presence somehow. I liked to think she was watching over us, happy that Sarah had a complete family again. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother: "Have a wonderful trip. You deserve all the happiness in the world. Rebecca would be so proud of the man you have become." I typed back, "Thank you, Mom. For everything. I love you." Another text came through, this one from Agent Santos: "Vincent Russo's appeal was denied. He will never see the outside of a prison cell again. You can rest easy now." I showed the message to Emma. She read it and nodded, relief washing over her face. "It is really over," she said. "It is really over," I confirmed. "We are safe now. All of us." As the plane continued toward Hawaii, I thought about the speech I had given last month at the community center. They had asked me to speak about courage and doing the right thing. I had been nervous, but Sarah had encouraged me. "You are a hero, Daddy," she had said. "People need to hear your story." Standing in front of 200 people, I had told them the truth. I am not special. I am just a father who loves his daughter. But I learned something important that day on the runway. Courage is not about being fearless. Courage is about being terrified and doing the right thing anyway. It is about protecting others even when it costs you everything. And love, real love, means putting someone else's life before your own. The audience had given me a standing ovation. But the best moment came afterward, when a young man approached me with tears in his eyes. "Thank you," he said. "I have been debating whether to report a crime I witnessed. I was afraid. But hearing your story gave me courage. I am going to do the right thing." That moment made everything worthwhile. The pain. The fear. The bullet. All of it. Because my story had inspired someone else to be brave. And maybe that person would inspire another. And another. Like ripples spreading across water. Emma gently shook Lily awake as the captain announced we would be landing in 30 minutes. Lily rubbed her eyes and smiled at me. "Dad, can we build a really big sandcastle when we get there?" she asked. "The biggest sandcastle Hawaii has ever seen," I promised. "With a moat?" "With a moat and towers and everything." Sarah woke up too, excited. "Can we go snorkeling?" "You promised." "Yes, we can go snorkeling," I laughed. Emma looked at me with so much love in her eyes. "Thank you," she mouthed silently. "For what?" I mouthed back. "For being you. For saving us. For loving us." I mouthed back, "Thank you for saving me too." Because that was the truth. Emma and Lily had saved me just as much as I had saved them. They had given me a reason to heal, to move forward, to believe in happiness again. The plane began its descent. Below us, I could see the Hawaiian Islands, green and beautiful, surrounded by turquoise water. Paradise. A new beginning. Our future. Sarah grabbed my hand on one side. Emma grabbed my other hand. Lily reached across and put her small hand on top of ours. "Family," Lily said simply. "Family," we all repeated together. And in that moment, 30,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean, surrounded by the people I loved most in this world, I felt truly blessed. The chaos on that runway had torn my life apart. But it had also rebuilt it into something even more beautiful than before. I had learned the most important lesson of all: sometimes you have to lose everything to find what really matters. Sometimes you have to face death to truly understand life. And sometimes the greatest tragedy leads to the greatest joy. As the wheels touched down on the runway in Hawaii, I smiled. A new adventure was beginning. A new chapter of our lives. And I was ready for all of it.